The Discipline Code: Master Self-Control, Build Powerful Habits, and Achieve Lasting Success. Published by MindRise Audio. Introduction. What if the biggest obstacle in your life is not a lack of talent, money, or opportunity? What if it is a lack of discipline? Discipline is not a gift that only a few people possess. It is a skill. It can be learned, it can be strengthened, and it can change every area of your life. Every successful person has faced moments of doubt. They have felt tired, they have wanted to quit. The difference is not that they never struggled, the difference is that they kept moving forward. That is the power of discipline. This book is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming consistent. It is about making better choices, one day at a time. It is about building habits that continue even when motivation disappears. Many people spend their lives waiting to feel inspired before they take action. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for more confidence. They wait until life becomes easier. But that day rarely comes. Real progress begins when you decide to act anyway. The Discipline Code was written to help you make that decision. Inside this book, you will discover why discipline matters more than motivation. You will learn how small daily actions create remarkable results over time. You will understand why successful people rely on systems instead of emotions. Most importantly, you will learn how to build a mindset that stays strong even when life becomes difficult. You do not need extraordinary talent. You do not need perfect conditions. You only need the willingness to begin. As you move through each chapter, you will find practical ideas that you can apply immediately. Each lesson builds on the one before it. Step by step, you will create a stronger foundation for your future. Some lessons may challenge the way you think. Others may confirm what you already know. The goal is not simply to give you information. The goal is to create lasting transformation. Remember this throughout your journey. Every great achievement begins with one disciplined decision. Every powerful habit starts with one small action. Every meaningful change begins with a single choice to continue when quitting feels easier. That choice belongs to you. No one can make it on your behalf. The future you want is built by the actions you take today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. As you listen to this book, keep an open mind. Reflect on each lesson. Think about how it applies to your own life. Do not rush through the ideas. Allow them to become part of the way you think and live. This is more than a book about discipline. It is a guide to becoming the kind of person who keeps promises, finishes what they start, and continues moving forward regardless of the circumstances. Your journey begins now. Take a deep breath. Focus your attention. Leave your excuses behind. The next chapter will reveal why discipline is one of the greatest forces for personal success and why mastering it can change your life forever. Chapter 1. The Hidden Power of Discipline. There is a force that quietly shapes every successful life. Most people never notice it. They search for talent. They admire intelligence. They chase motivation. They believe that successful people were simply born different. The truth is far less dramatic. Behind every meaningful achievement stands one quiet habit: discipline. It rarely receives applause. It does not demand attention, yet it is the invisible foundation beneath every lasting success. Imagine two people standing at the beginning of the same journey. They have similar education, they have similar opportunities, they even share the same dream. The first person waits until they feel inspired. The second person begins working whether they feel inspired or not. After 1 week, the difference is almost impossible to see. After 1 month, the gap becomes noticeable. After 1 year, they seem to be living completely different lives. The difference was never talent. The difference was discipline. That is the hidden power of discipline. It works quietly. It works patiently. And over time, it changes everything. Many people misunderstand discipline. They imagine a life filled with strict rules and endless sacrifice. They picture someone who never smiles, never rests, and never enjoys life. That is not discipline. True discipline is freedom. It gives you control over your choices, instead of allowing your emotions to control you. It helps you decide what matters most. Then it gives you the strength to act on that decision every single day. Think about a pilot flying through heavy clouds. The pilot cannot always see the destination. The weather changes, the wind becomes stronger, visibility disappears. Yet the pilot continues following the instruments. The destination remains the same. Discipline works in much the same way. There will be days when your motivation disappears. There will be mornings when your energy feels low. There will be moments when doubt whispers that quitting would be easier. Your discipline becomes the instrument that keeps you moving in the right direction. Without it, emotions become your guide, and emotions change constantly. One day they encourage you. The next day they convince you to stop. If your future depends only on how you feel, your progress will always be uncertain. Discipline creates certainty. It allows you to move forward even when your emotions tell you to stand still. Consider the story of a young musician. Every evening after work, he practiced for 1 hour. There were no crowds, no applause, no rewards. Some evenings he felt excited, other evenings he felt exhausted. Still, he practiced. 1 hour became 100 hours. 100 hours became 1,000. Years later, people called him naturally gifted. They admired his talent. Few people saw the quiet evenings when no one was watching. His greatest advantage was not talent, it was consistency. That consistency came from discipline. This pattern appears in every area of life. A healthy body is not created by one perfect workout. A strong relationship is not built through one kind conversation. Financial security does not come from one good decision. Success is built through repeated actions. The small choices you make today shape the person you become tomorrow. That idea may seem simple, yet it is one of the most powerful truths you will ever learn. Every day you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. When you choose to read instead of wasting another hour, you cast a vote. When you keep your word, you cast a vote. When you finish a difficult task, instead of avoiding it, you cast another vote. One decision may seem small. Hundreds of decisions become your identity. Many people underestimate the power of small actions because the results are invisible at first. Imagine planting a tree. You place a tiny seed into the ground. The next morning, nothing appears to have changed. A week later, there is still little to see. If you judged only by appearances, you might believe your effort was wasted. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. They spread quietly through the soil. They create strength long before anyone notices the first branch. Discipline works the same way. The greatest changes often begin where nobody can see them. The first victory is not visible to others. It happens inside your mind. You begin keeping promises to yourself. You stop depending on excuses. You start trusting your own decisions. That inner transformation eventually becomes visible in your work, your health, your relationships, and your confidence. One of the greatest myths about success is that extraordinary people make extraordinary decisions. In reality, they often make ordinary decisions with extraordinary consistency. They wake up when they planned to wake up. They finish what they started. They prepare before opportunities arrive. They continue learning after others stop. These actions are not exciting. They are repetitive. They are simple. That is exactly why they are so powerful. Anyone can make a great decision once. Few people repeat it every day. Discipline is built through repetition. Think about learning to write. At first, every letter requires concentration. Every movement feels awkward. Over time, writing becomes automatic. You no longer think about every letter. Your brain has built a habit. Discipline follows the same pattern. The first step often feels difficult. The 10th step feels easier. The 100th step becomes part of who you are. This is why you should never fear starting small. Many people fail because they try to change everything at once. They create impossible schedules. They set unrealistic goals. When they cannot maintain them, they become discouraged. Then they quit. A wiser approach is different. Start with one promise. Keep it, then repeat it tomorrow. Success grows from consistency, not intensity. One page every day becomes many books. One workout every week becomes a healthier body. One kind conversation each day strengthens relationships. One wise financial decision repeated for years creates stability. Discipline teaches patience. It reminds you that meaningful results require time. Modern life often encourages immediate rewards. Everything seems available instantly. Food arrives within minutes. Entertainment begins with one click. Information appears in seconds. Because of this, many people expect personal growth to happen just as quickly. Real growth follows a different timeline. It moves quietly. It develops gradually. It rewards those who remain faithful to the process. There will be moments when your progress feels invisible. Do not mistake invisible progress for failure. The roots are still growing. Every disciplined action strengthens your future. Every promise you keep builds confidence. Every challenge you overcome increases resilience. Eventually, people notice the results. What they often miss are the countless ordinary days that created them. As you continue listening to this book, remember one important truth. Discipline is not about controlling every moment of your life. It is about controlling the direction of your life. Perfection is not required. Progress is. You will make mistakes. You will miss opportunities. You will experience setbacks. Everyone does. Discipline is not the absence of failure. It is the decision to begin again without giving up. That decision has changed countless lives. It can change yours as well. The hidden power of discipline is not found in dramatic moments. It lives inside ordinary days. It appears in quiet choices. It grows through repeated action, and over time, those small actions become the story of an extraordinary life. This chapter is your invitation to stop waiting for perfect conditions. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to know every answer. You only need to take the next step, because every remarkable journey begins the same way, with one disciplined choice. Chapter 2. Why Motivation Always Fades. Have you ever felt unstoppable on a Monday morning? You make a new plan. You write down your goals. You promise yourself that this time will be different. For a few days, everything feels easy. You wake up early. You eat healthier. You work harder. Then something changes. You become tired. Life becomes busy. Your excitement fades. The habits that seemed so easy suddenly feel difficult. Soon, the plan is forgotten. If this has happened to you, you are not alone. Almost everyone has experienced it. The problem is not a lack of potential. The problem is relying on motivation to carry you through the journey. Motivation is powerful. It can inspire action. It can create excitement. It can help you begin. But motivation was never designed to help you finish. That is the job of discipline. Think about a campfire. When you first light it, the flames are bright. The fire creates warmth and light. It catches everyone's attention. But if no one adds more wood, the fire slowly grows smaller. Eventually, it disappears. Motivation behaves in much the same way. It burns brightly for a while, then it slowly fades. Many people believe successful individuals wake up every morning feeling inspired. The truth is very different. Successful people also have difficult mornings. They also feel tired. They also question themselves. The difference is simple. They keep working after motivation leaves. Imagine a runner preparing for a marathon. During the first week of training, excitement fills every workout. The new shoes feel comfortable. The training plan looks exciting. Friends offer encouragement. Everything feels possible. Several weeks later, the excitement has disappeared. The weather is cold. The legs feel heavy. Progress seems slow. This is the moment that matters most. The runner who depends on motivation stays home. The runner who depends on discipline puts on the shoes and runs anyway. Months later, only one of them crosses the finish line. The finish line was never reached because of motivation. It was reached because of consistency. Many people misunderstand the purpose of motivation. They treat it as fuel. In reality, motivation is more like a spark. A spark can start a fire. It cannot keep the fire burning forever. You need something stronger. You need habits. You need routines. Most importantly, you need discipline. One reason motivation fades is because emotions constantly change. Think about your own life. Some mornings you feel confident. Other mornings you feel uncertain. Some days you are full of energy. Other days you simply want to rest. If your actions depend on your emotions, your progress will always move up and down. Your future becomes unpredictable. Discipline removes that uncertainty. Instead of asking, "Do I feel like doing this today?" a disciplined person asks a different question. What needs to be done? That small change creates a completely different life. There is another reason motivation fades. The human brain naturally seeks comfort. Comfort feels safe. Comfort requires little effort. When a new goal demands sacrifice, the brain often encourages you to return to familiar habits. That is why the beginning of any journey feels exciting. Your imagination focuses on the reward. As the work becomes harder, your mind begins searching for easier options. This is normal. It happens to everyone. The people who succeed are not those who avoid this feeling. They are the ones who continue despite it. Consider the story of a young entrepreneur. She dreamed of building her own business. At first, she worked with endless excitement. She watched videos. She read books. She imagined the future she wanted. Then reality arrived. Customers were slow to appear. Problems became larger. Income remained small. Every day presented new challenges. The excitement disappeared. Many people would have quit. Instead, she created a simple routine. Each morning she completed the most important task before checking messages or social media. She repeated that routine every day. Weeks became months. Months became years. Eventually her business began to grow. People admired her success. Few people understood what truly created it. It was not endless motivation. It was daily discipline. This pattern appears everywhere. A student preparing for important exams cannot rely on inspiration every evening. A parent raising children cannot choose responsibility only when it feels convenient. A musician cannot master an instrument by practicing only on exciting days. A leader cannot guide others by showing up only when the mood feels right. Life rewards consistency, not occasional enthusiasm. There is a powerful lesson hidden inside every successful routine. The routine exists to reduce decision-making. Imagine waking up every morning and debating whether you should brush your teeth. The decision would waste time and energy. Fortunately, the habit already exists. You simply do it. Disciplined people build productive habits the same way. They remove unnecessary choices. Instead of deciding whether to exercise, they exercise at the same time every day. Instead of wondering when to study, they follow a schedule. Instead of waiting for creativity, they sit down and begin working. Action comes first. Motivation often follows. Many people believe they must feel motivated before taking action. Reality usually works in the opposite direction. Action creates motivation. Think about cleaning a room. At first, the task feels overwhelming. You do not want to begin. Then you pick up one item. Next, you organize one shelf. A few minutes later, you notice progress. Suddenly, your energy increases. The work becomes easier. Nothing magical happened. The action itself created momentum. This principle applies to every area of life. Do not wait until you feel ready. Start first. Your emotions will often catch up later. There is another trap that causes motivation to disappear: comparison. Modern life makes comparison almost impossible to avoid. You see people celebrating success. You see finished projects. You see impressive achievements. What you rarely see are the years of quiet effort behind those achievements. Comparison steals motivation because it focuses on someone else's finish line instead of your own next step. Discipline keeps your attention where it belongs, on today's work, not someone else's results. A wise builder does not stare at the roof before laying the foundation. Each brick matters. Each day matters. Every small action contributes to the finished structure. The same is true for your life. Never underestimate the value of ordinary days. The most successful people are often those who mastered ordinary routines. They understand that greatness is rarely created in one dramatic moment. It is created through thousands of simple choices. One more page read, one more workout completed, one more difficult conversation handled with patience, one more promise kept. Those moments rarely receive applause, yet together they build an extraordinary future. If you want lasting progress, stop chasing constant motivation. Instead, build systems that support disciplined action. Choose a regular time for your important work. Prepare your environment before you begin. Remove distractions whenever possible. Break large goals into smaller daily actions. Celebrate consistency more than perfection. These simple practices reduce the need for motivation. They allow discipline to take control. Remember that motivation is an emotion, like happiness, excitement, or fear. It naturally rises and falls. You cannot control every emotion. You can control your actions. That is where your real power lives. On difficult days, remind yourself why you started, not to create temporary excitement, but to create lasting change. Every time you continue after motivation fades, you strengthen your character. You teach yourself that your commitments are stronger than your feelings. That lesson is priceless. One day you will look back and realize that your greatest victories did not happen when you felt unstoppable. They happened on the ordinary days, the quiet mornings, the difficult afternoons, the evenings when quitting seemed easier than continuing. Those were the moments that shaped your future. Motivation may open the first door. Discipline carries you through every room beyond it. As you move into the next chapter, remember this simple truth. Do not build your future on feelings that come and go. Build it on decisions that remain steady. Because the people who achieve extraordinary things are rarely the most motivated. They are the ones who continue long after motivation has disappeared. Chapter 3. Make decisions before the moment arrives. Every day, your life is shaped by decisions. Some are small. Some are life-changing. Most happen so quickly that you barely notice them. Should you wake up now or press the snooze button? Should you exercise or skip today? Should you save your money or spend it? Should you continue working or scroll through your phone for a few minutes? Each choice seems insignificant, yet together they create your future. Many people believe success comes from making better decisions in difficult moments. In reality, success often comes from making those decisions long before the difficult moments ever arrives. This is one of the most powerful habits of disciplined people. They prepare in advance. They decide before emotion has a chance to interfere. Imagine a ship sailing across the ocean. The captain does not wait until the storm begins to choose a destination. The route is planned before leaving the harbor. The supplies are loaded in advance. The crew understands their responsibilities. When rough weather arrives, there is no confusion. Everyone knows what to do. Life works in much the same way. Storms will come. Temptation will appear. Unexpected problems will interrupt your plans. If you wait until those moments to decide how you will respond, your emotions will often take control. Preparation gives you another option. It allows your principles to guide your actions instead of your feelings. Think about a person who wants to become healthier. Every evening they promise themselves they will wake up early and exercise. Morning arrives. The bed feels warm, the room feels cold, their body feels tired. Now they must make a decision while fighting comfort and fatigue. That is a difficult battle. But imagine a different approach. The night before, they place their workout clothes beside the bed. They prepare a bottle of water. They set one alarm. They decide exactly what exercise they will do. Morning still feels difficult, but many of the decisions have already been made. The path is clear. Action becomes much easier. This simple idea can transform every area of your life. Successful people remove unnecessary decisions. They create systems that make the right choice easier than the wrong one. That is why many writers work at the same desk every day. Many athletes train at the same time each morning. Many business leaders begin their day with the same routine. Their routines reduce hesitation. They preserve mental energy for more important challenges. Every decision requires energy. Psychologists often describe this as decision fatigue. The more choices you make throughout the day, the harder it becomes to make wise decisions later. That is one reason people often abandon healthy habits in the evening. Their mental energy has been reduced by hundreds of small choices. Disciplined people understand this. They simplify their lives. They create routines. They eliminate unnecessary distractions. They reserve their energy for decisions that truly matter. Consider the story of a young architect. She dreamed of designing remarkable buildings. Her biggest challenge was not a lack of talent, it was inconsistency. Every evening she planned to study new design techniques, yet after work she often felt tired. She told herself she would study tomorrow. Tomorrow became next week became next month. Finally, she changed one thing. Instead of deciding each evening whether to study, she made one permanent decision. Every weekday from 7 until 8 in the morning would belong to learning. No negotiation, no daily debate, just one clear commitment. At first, waking up early felt uncomfortable. After several weeks, it became normal. Months later, her knowledge had grown dramatically. Years later, people admired her expertise. They saw the results. They did not see the simple decision she had made years before. One decision created thousands of disciplined mornings. That is the hidden power of deciding early. The best decisions are often made when your mind is calm, not when emotions are running high. Imagine walking through a grocery store while hungry. Suddenly, every snack seems appealing. Every unhealthy choice feels reasonable. Now imagine visiting the same store after eating a healthy meal. The experience changes completely. Your emotions no longer control your choices. The same principle applies to every part of life. Never make important decisions when you are controlled by anger, or fear, or exhaustion, or excitement. Strong emotions can cloud clear thinking. Whenever possible, make your important decisions while your mind is peaceful. One of the greatest enemies of discipline is negotiation. It begins with small thoughts. I will skip today. I will start tomorrow. Just this once. Those words sound harmless, yet they slowly weaken your commitment. Every time you negotiate with your own standards, they become easier to break. Disciplined people reduce negotiation. They replace it with commitment. Instead of asking, "Should I work today?" they say, "This is what I do." Instead of asking, "Should I save money this month?" they say, "Saving is part of my life." Their identity becomes stronger than their temporary emotions. This shift is powerful. When discipline becomes part of who you are, your decisions become simpler. A person who sees themselves as honest does not spend every day deciding whether to tell the truth. Honesty becomes automatic. A person who sees themselves as healthy naturally makes healthier choices. A person who sees themselves as disciplined begins acting accordingly. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior strengthens identity. The cycle continues. There is another strategy that can make disciplined decisions much easier. Create your response before the challenge appears. Ask yourself questions like these. If I feel tired tomorrow morning, what will I do? If I become distracted while working, how will I respond? If someone offers me something that conflicts with my goals, what will I say? By answering these questions ahead of time, you remove uncertainty. You no longer depend on quick thinking. You already know your response. Professional firefighters train before emergencies happen. Pilots practice emergency procedures before facing danger. Medical teams rehearse life-saving techniques long before they meet real patients. Why? Because preparation saves valuable time. It reduces panic. It increases confidence. You can apply the same principle to your personal life. Prepare for challenges before they arrive. Do not assume every day will be easy. Expect obstacles, then decide how you will respond. This mindset changes everything. Imagine two students preparing for important exams. The first hopes nothing interrupts their study schedule. The second expects distractions. They plan what to do if visitors arrive. They decide how to recover after missing a study session. They prepare backup plans. When problems appear, the second student continues moving forward. Preparation creates resilience. Hope alone does not. Another valuable habit is making fewer promises and keeping every one of them. Some people fill notebooks with ambitious plans. They create long lists of goals. They promise dramatic changes. Within days, most of those promises disappear. Disciplined people choose a different path. They make fewer commitments, but they honor them consistently. Keeping one promise every day builds trust in yourself. Breaking 10 promises weakens that trust. Self-confidence grows through evidence. Each promise you keep tells your mind something important. I can depend on myself. That belief becomes one of your greatest strengths. Remember that discipline is not about making perfect decisions every time. You will make mistakes. Everyone does. The goal is not perfection. The goal is preparation. When you make a poor choice, decide immediately how you will return to the right path. Do not allow one mistake to become a habit. Correct your direction early. Just as a pilot makes small adjustments throughout a flight, you can make small adjustments throughout your life. Tiny corrections prevent major problems later. As you continue your journey, begin paying attention to the moments that repeatedly challenge you. Do you lose focus during the afternoon? Prepare your workspace before lunch. Do you struggle to read every evening? Place your book where you will see it. Do you waste too much time on your phone? Turn off unnecessary notifications before your work begins. These simple actions may seem ordinary, yet they remove friction. They make success easier. Every disciplined life is built on thoughtful preparation. The strongest people are not always those with the greatest willpower. Often, they are simply the best prepared. They understand that emotions are temporary, circumstances change. Unexpected challenges will always appear. But a decision made with clarity has remarkable strength. Long before temptation arrives, choose the person you want to become. Long before excuses appear, choose the standard you will follow. Long before fear speaks, choose courage. Every prepared decision becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. One day, people may admire your confidence. They may respect your consistency. They may wonder how you remain focused when others lose direction. The answer will not be found in a single dramatic moment. It will be found in hundreds of quiet decisions made long before anyone was watching. That is the true power of discipline. It prepares today for the challenges of tomorrow. And when the moment finally arrives, you are no longer deciding what to do. You are simply becoming the person you already chose to be. Chapter 4. Build habits that work without effort. Have you ever wondered why some people seem disciplined without struggling every day? They wake up early. They exercise consistently. They read regularly. They complete important work without constant reminders. It looks effortless. Many people assume these individuals possess extraordinary self-control. The truth is much simpler. They have built habits, and those habits now work for them instead of against them. This is one of the greatest secrets of long-term success. Discipline begins with effort. Habits eventually reduce that effort. The goal is not to force yourself forever. The goal is to make the right actions become natural. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. The first attempt feels awkward. You struggle to balance. You think about every movement. Your hands grip the handlebars tightly. Your attention is focused on every small detail. Then something changes. After enough practice, riding becomes automatic. You no longer think about balancing. You simply ride. The skill has become part of you. Good habits develop in exactly the same way. At first, they demand attention. Later, they become part of your daily life. That is why habits are so powerful. They reduce the amount of willpower you need. Imagine waking up every morning and deciding whether you should brush your teeth. It would feel strange. You no longer debate that decision. The habit already exists. You simply do it. Now imagine if exercise, reading, saving money, or focused work became just as automatic. That is the life habits can create. Many people fail because they focus only on goals. Goals are important. They give you direction. But goals alone do not change your life. Habits do. A goal is something you hope to achieve. A habit is something you repeatedly do. The difference is enormous. Imagine two people who both want to write a book. The first person says, "I want to become an author." The second person says, "I will write for 30 minutes every morning." One focuses on the result. The other focuses on the habit. Months later, one still dreams. The other has completed several chapters. Success usually belongs to the person who builds the better habits. There is an old saying that perfectly captures this idea. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That statement contains a powerful truth. Your daily routine determines your future far more than your occasional bursts of motivation. Every habit begins with a small action. The mistake many people make is trying to build enormous habits overnight. They decide to exercise 2 hours every day. They promise to read 100 pages every night. They attempt to change every part of their life at once. For a few days, excitement carries them forward. Soon, reality arrives. The routine becomes exhausting. Eventually, they quit. The problem was never a lack of desire. The problem was making the habit too large. Disciplined people understand a different principle. They start small, very small. A single page read each day. 10 minutes of exercise, 5 minutes of planning, 1 healthy meal, $1 saved. Small actions may appear insignificant, but they carry an important advantage. They are easy to repeat. Repetition is what creates habits, not intensity. Consider the story of a busy father who wanted to improve his health. Every January, he created ambitious fitness plans. Every February, those plans disappeared. One year, he decided to try something different. Instead of exercising for an hour, he promised himself only 5 minutes each morning. 5 minutes felt almost too easy. He never skipped. Some mornings he stopped after 5 minutes. Other mornings he continued for 30. The important part was not the length of the workout. The important part was protecting the habit. After several months, exercising no longer felt like a difficult decision. It became part of his identity. Years later, people admired his consistency. They assumed he had incredible discipline. What they did not see was how small the habit had been in the beginning. Small beginnings often create extraordinary endings. There is another important truth about habits. Your environment shapes your behavior more than you realize. Imagine placing a bowl of fresh fruit on your kitchen table. Each time you walk past it, you receive a reminder to eat something healthy. Now imagine replacing that fruit with cookies and candy. Without saying a word, your environment encourages different behavior. The same principle applies everywhere. If your phone sits beside your bed every night, you will probably reach for it in the morning. If a book sits on your pillow, you are more likely to read before sleeping. If your running shoes wait beside the front door, exercising becomes easier. Success is often less about self-control and more about thoughtful preparation. Build an environment that supports the habits you want. Remove the things that support the habits you wish to leave behind. A writer who wants fewer distractions may place the phone in another room. A student who wants better concentration may prepare a quiet workspace before studying. A family that wants healthier meals may prepare food before hunger arrives. These are simple choices, yet they quietly influence daily behavior. Another mistake people make is expecting habits to feel exciting forever. They will not. Every habit eventually becomes ordinary. That is not failure. That is progress. When a behavior feels ordinary, it requires less mental energy. That is exactly what you want. Professional athletes still practice basic skills. Experienced musicians still play scales. Successful business owners still manage simple daily tasks. Mastery is not built by constantly seeking excitement. It is built by repeating the fundamentals until they become automatic. One of the greatest dangers to a new habit is missing too many days. Everyone has busy weeks. Everyone becomes sick. Everyone faces unexpected challenges. Missing one day is normal. Missing many days can become a new habit. Whenever possible, return quickly. Never allow a temporary interruption to become a permanent excuse. Imagine a traveler driving toward an important destination. A small detour does not cancel the journey. The driver simply returns to the correct road. Treat your habits the same way. Do not waste time feeling guilty. Return to the path. Keep moving forward. Consistency matters more than perfection. Another powerful strategy is linking a new habit to an existing one. Suppose you already drink coffee every morning. You could read one page immediately afterward. If you already brush your teeth every evening, you could spend 2 minutes planning tomorrow before going to bed. The old habit becomes a reminder for the new one. Over time, they become connected. This makes the new behavior easier to remember. Disciplined people also celebrate progress differently. They do not wait until reaching a huge goal. They appreciate consistency. Every completed workout is a victory. Every chapter read is a victory. Every promise kept is a victory. Small wins build confidence. Confidence encourages repetition. Repetition strengthens habits. The cycle becomes stronger with every passing week. There is another lesson that many people overlook. Bad habits are built exactly the same way as good ones. One unnecessary purchase may not seem important. 1 hour of procrastination may feel harmless. One unhealthy meal appears insignificant. Repeated often enough, each small action creates a pattern. That pattern eventually becomes automatic. The encouraging news is that the opposite is also true. Every positive choice creates a better pattern. Every disciplined action strengthens a better future. Remember that habits are never truly about the action itself. They are about the person you are becoming. Every time you read, you become a reader. Every time you exercise, you become someone who values health. Every time you keep your promises, you become someone who can be trusted. Identity grows through repeated behavior. Behavior becomes easier when it matches your identity. This is why habits become so powerful over time. Eventually, you stop forcing yourself. You simply act like the person you have become. As your habits improve, something remarkable happens. Life begins to feel less chaotic. Important decisions require less effort. Your routines carry you forward even on difficult days. You no longer depend on motivation. You no longer negotiate with yourself every morning. Your habits quietly perform the work for you. This is the hidden reward of discipline. It creates habits. Those habits create freedom. Imagine your life 1 year from today. Picture the small actions you could repeat every day. Reading for 20 minutes, walking after dinner, saving a little money each week, practicing an important skill, speaking kindly to yourself. None of these actions seem extraordinary. Together, they have the power to transform your future. Never underestimate the influence of small daily habits. Great lives are rarely built through dramatic moments. They are built through ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. Begin with one habit. Protect it every day. Allow it to become automatic. Then build another and another. One day, someone may ask how you became so disciplined. They may think success came easily. Only you will know the truth. It was never about forcing yourself forever. It was about building habits that quietly carried you forward, one day at a time. Chapter 5. Train your mind to keep promises. There is one promise that matters more than any other. It is not the promise you make to your employer. It is not the promise you make to your friends. It is not even the promise you make to your family. It is the promise you make to yourself. Every day, you make silent commitments. You tell yourself that tomorrow you will wake up earlier. You promise to exercise. You promise to finish an important project. You promise to stop procrastinating. Sometimes you follow through. Many times you do not. At first, these broken promises seem small, but over time they begin to shape the way you see yourself. Every promise you keep strengthens trust. Every promise you break weakens it. Most people understand the importance of earning the trust of others. Few realize how important it is to earn their own trust. Imagine hiring someone who repeatedly breaks every commitment they make. Would you trust that person with an important responsibility? Probably not. Now ask yourself a more difficult question. How often have you broken promises to yourself? If the answer is often, then your own mind has learned something dangerous. It has learned that your words cannot always be trusted. That belief quietly affects every part of your life. It influences your confidence, your decisions, your motivation, your willingness to take on difficult challenges. The good news is that this pattern can be changed. Trust can always be rebuilt, one promise at a time. Think about a bridge stretching across a wide river. Each steel beam supports the next. Together, they create strength. Remove enough beams, and the bridge becomes unstable. Self-trust works the same way. Every kept promise becomes another beam. Every broken promise removes one. The stronger the bridge becomes, the more weight it can carry. The stronger your self-trust becomes, the more challenges you can overcome. Many people believe confidence comes before action. In reality, confidence often comes after action. It grows through evidence. When you repeatedly prove to yourself that you can do what you said you would do, confidence begins to grow naturally. You no longer hope you are disciplined. You know you are, because you have evidence. Imagine a young teacher preparing for a professional certification. She had failed once before. The experience left her discouraged. When she thought about studying again, doubt quickly appeared. Her mind whispered the same questions. What if I fail again? What if I am not capable? Instead of focusing on passing the exam, she focused on keeping one promise. She promised to study for 30 minutes every evening. No excuses, no negotiation. Some evenings she felt energetic. Other evenings she felt exhausted. Still, she kept her promise. Day after day, week after week. Slowly, something unexpected happened. Her knowledge improved, but something even more important changed. She began trusting herself again. The exam became easier because her mind no longer questioned whether she would continue. She had already proven it. Success did not begin with passing the test. It began with keeping a small promise. This is how lasting confidence is built, not through positive thinking alone, not through motivational speeches, through consistent action. Your mind pays close attention to your behavior. It notices whether you follow through. It remembers whether you quit. Every action becomes evidence. If your actions repeatedly match your words, your mind begins believing in you. If your actions repeatedly contradict your words, doubt begins to grow. Fortunately, your brain is always learning. That means today can become a new beginning. One of the biggest mistakes people make is promising too much. They become excited. They create unrealistic plans. They promise dramatic changes. Tomorrow they will wake up at 5 in the morning. Exercise for 2 hours, read 100 pages, work without distractions, eat perfectly, sleep early. The list continues. Within a few days, reality arrives. The promises become impossible to keep. Discouragement follows. Then another cycle of disappointment begins. Disciplined people choose a different strategy. They make promises they can actually keep. Simple promises, clear promises, specific promises. Instead of saying, "I will completely change my life," they say, "I will read 10 pages today." Instead of promising to become perfectly organized overnight, they promise to spend 15 minutes organizing one area. These promises may appear small, yet they carry enormous power, because they are achievable. Every completed promise strengthens self-trust. Small victories eventually become larger victories. Think about learning to lift weights. No one begins by lifting the heaviest weight in the gym. Strength develops gradually. The same is true for your character. Your ability to keep promises grows stronger through practice. Each successful commitment prepares you for a greater one. There is another important lesson. Your mind believes what you repeatedly show it. If you constantly tell yourself that you are lazy, your actions begin supporting that belief. If you repeatedly prove that you are dependable, your identity begins changing. Identity is shaped by repeated evidence. That is why actions always matter more than intentions. Intentions are invisible. Actions create reality. Consider a craftsman building a beautiful table. Every day he arrives at his workshop. He measures carefully. He cuts precisely. He works patiently. There are no shortcuts. There are no dramatic moments. Day after day, he honors his commitment to quality. Eventually, the finished table speaks for itself. His reputation grows because his daily actions matched his standards. Your life is built in exactly the same way. Each day adds another piece to your character. Every promise kept becomes part of your foundation. Another challenge many people face is breaking promises after making one mistake. Imagine someone following a healthy eating plan. They attend a celebration and enjoy a large dessert. Suddenly they think, "I have already failed." The next meal becomes unhealthy. Then the next day, soon the entire plan disappears. One mistake became an excuse. Disciplined people respond differently. They understand that one broken promise does not define them. They return immediately. They refuse to allow one poor decision to become a permanent habit. Remember this simple rule: never miss twice if you can help it. Life will interrupt your plans. Unexpected events will happen, but returning quickly protects your self-trust. Consistency is built through recovery, not perfection. Another powerful habit is writing down your commitments. Something changes when a promise moves from your thoughts onto paper. It becomes more real. It becomes more intentional. Each morning, choose one promise that truly matters. Keep it simple. Complete it before the day ends. Over time, this practice creates remarkable confidence. You begin each day with purpose. You end each day with proof that you can depend on yourself. Many successful people follow this principle without realizing it. They identify the most important task before distractions begin. They complete it first. Everything else becomes easier because they have already honored their biggest commitment. There is another reason keeping promises matters. People notice. Your reputation is built the same way your self-confidence is built, through consistency. If you become someone who always follows through, opportunities naturally increase. Employers trust you, friends depend on you, family members believe your words. Leadership grows from reliability. Reliability begins with personal discipline. Before you can consistently lead others, you must learn to lead yourself. The strongest leaders do not simply give instructions, they set examples. They become people whose actions match their words. That kind of leadership cannot be created overnight. It is earned through thousands of promises, quietly kept over many years. As you continue your journey, begin paying attention to the promises you make. Do not speak carelessly. Do not commit too quickly. Choose wisely, then follow through. Protect your word, especially the word you give yourself. Each promise you honor becomes another vote for the person you want to become. Each completed commitment tells your mind, I am someone who finishes what I start. That belief becomes stronger every day. One day, difficult tasks will no longer feel impossible. Challenges will no longer create the same fear. Not because life has become easier, but because you have built something far more valuable. You have built trust in yourself. And once you truly trust yourself, discipline no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes part of your character. The promises you keep today become the confidence you carry tomorrow. So begin with one promise, keep it, repeat it tomorrow. Then do it again. Because every extraordinary life is built by ordinary people who learned one simple lesson. Your word has power, especially when you keep it. Chapter 6. Master the art of delayed gratification. Every day, life presents you with two choices. One choice offers comfort now, the other offers something better later. Most people choose what feels good in the moment. Few choose what creates a better future. That simple difference often separates average lives from extraordinary ones. This ability has a name. It is called delayed gratification. Delayed gratification means giving up a small reward today so you can receive a much greater reward tomorrow. It sounds simple. Living it is much harder. Your mind naturally seeks pleasure. It wants comfort. It wants ease. It wants quick results. That is not a weakness. It is part of being human. The challenge is learning not to let temporary desires control permanent decisions. Imagine standing in front of two doors. The first door opens immediately. Behind it are comfort, entertainment, and instant pleasure. The second door remains closed. It requires patience. It demands effort. It asks you to trust the process. But behind that second door are confidence, freedom, wisdom, and lasting success. Every day, you decide which door to walk through. Many people think delayed gratification is only about money. It is much bigger than that. Every healthy meal instead of unhealthy food is delayed gratification. Every hour spent studying instead of scrolling through social media is delayed gratification. Every workout completed when you would rather stay on the couch is delayed gratification. Every dollar saved instead of spent is delayed gratification. Every difficult conversation instead of avoiding the problem is delayed gratification. It appears in almost every important decision you make. The people who consistently choose the second door slowly build extraordinary lives, not because they are smarter, not because they are luckier, but because they are willing to wait for something better. Think about a farmer planting seeds. The farmer does not expect a harvest the next morning. The seeds are placed into the soil, then comes waiting. Days pass, weeks pass. The farmer continues watering the field. The work continues even when nothing appears above the ground. Imagine if the farmer became impatient after 1 week. Imagine digging up the seeds every day just to check if they were growing. The harvest would never come. Success works the same way. You plant disciplined actions, then you wait. Growth happens beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. This is one of the hardest lessons to accept. Modern life teaches us to expect immediate results. You order food and it arrives quickly. You search for information and receive it instantly. You watch a movie with one click. Technology has made many things faster, but personal growth still follows the old rules. Character cannot be downloaded. Wisdom cannot be rushed. Discipline cannot be purchased. These things require time, and time rewards patience. Consider the story of a young investor. At the beginning of his career, he earned only a modest income. His friends spent most of their salaries on expensive clothes, new phones, and luxury experiences. He made a different decision. Each month he saved a small portion of his income. The amount was not impressive. Some people even laughed at him. Years passed. His friends continued chasing immediate pleasure. He continued investing patiently. Eventually, something remarkable happened. His money began working for him. The rewards of patience became larger than the rewards of spending. People suddenly called him fortunate. They believed he had discovered a secret. The secret had never been luck. It was delayed gratification. He gave up small pleasures for a much greater future. The same principle applies to learning. A student who studies consistently may miss some entertainment today. Years later, that education opens doors that temporary pleasure never could. A musician who practices while others relax develops skills that last a lifetime. An athlete who trains while others sleep builds strength that cannot be borrowed. The reward always comes later. That is why so many people quit too early. They expect immediate success. When it does not appear, they assume their efforts are failing. In reality, their efforts are simply still growing. Imagine filling a large bucket with water. Each day you add one small cup. At first, the bucket looks almost empty. The progress feels invisible, but every cup matters. Eventually, the bucket becomes full. Success often feels exactly like this. Small actions accumulate. The results appear slowly. Then suddenly they become impossible to ignore. One of the greatest enemies of delayed gratification is comparison. You look around and see others enjoying immediate rewards. Someone buys a luxury car. Someone takes an expensive vacation. Someone appears successful overnight. What you often cannot see are the consequences that may come later. Debt, stress, poor habits, lost opportunities. Likewise, people cannot always see the quiet investments you are making. They do not see the books you are reading. They do not see the mornings you wake up early. They do not see the sacrifices you make today. One day they will notice the results, but by then your habits will already have shaped your future. Never compare someone else's visible rewards with your invisible preparation. Your journey has its own timeline. Delayed gratification also requires emotional control. Sometimes the greatest battle is not against other people. It is against your own impulses. You feel the urge to quit. You want immediate comfort. You tell yourself, "I deserve a break." Occasionally, rest is necessary. But there is a difference between healthy recovery and avoiding responsibility. Learning to recognize that difference is an important part of discipline. Ask yourself one simple question. Will this decision help the person I want to become? If the answer is yes, continue. If the answer is no, pause before acting. That single question can prevent countless poor decisions. Another useful strategy is making the future feel more real. Many people make poor choices because tomorrow feels distant. Today feels powerful. Tomorrow feels imaginary. Change your perspective. Picture yourself 5 years from now. Imagine the person you want to become. Imagine your health, your finances, your relationships, your confidence. Now ask yourself another question. What choice would that future version of me thank me for making today? The answer often becomes surprisingly clear. Disciplined people think beyond the present moment. They understand that every decision sends a message to the future. Some decisions create opportunity, others create regret. Every choice carries a cost. The question is not whether you will pay a price. The question is when. You can pay the price of discipline now, or you can pay the price of regret later. The price of discipline is usually temporary. The price of regret often lasts much longer. Think about someone who ignores their health for years. At first, there seems to be no consequence. Comfort wins. Exercise is postponed. Healthy meals are replaced with convenience. Eventually, the future arrives. The delayed cost becomes impossible to ignore. Now think about someone who chooses discipline. Early mornings, healthy habits, regular movement. The effort is real, but the reward grows larger with time. Both people paid a price. One paid early, the other paid later. Choose your price wisely. Another important lesson is learning to celebrate progress instead of immediate rewards. Do not reward yourself only after reaching the final goal. Celebrate consistency. Celebrate showing up. Celebrate honoring your commitments. Those victories deserve recognition because they create lasting success. When you learn to enjoy the process, waiting becomes easier. Patience becomes a strength instead of a burden. As you move through life, remember that every meaningful achievement requires waiting. Trees need years to grow strong. Great friendships develop over time. Successful businesses rarely appear overnight. Strong character is built through repeated choices. Everything valuable asks for patience. Do not be discouraged if your progress feels slow. Slow progress is still progress. Keep planting, keep learning, keep improving, keep trusting the process. The harvest always arrives after the season of preparation. One day you will look back and realize that the greatest rewards in your life were never the ones that arrived quickly. They were the ones that required patience. The confidence you earned, the wisdom you gained, the habits you built, the life you created. None of those things happened in a single day. They grew through thousands of quiet decisions that no one else noticed. That is the true art of delayed gratification. It is choosing your future over your feelings. It is trusting tomorrow more than today's comfort. It is believing that every disciplined choice is an investment, not a sacrifice. Because when you learn to wait for what truly matters, you stop chasing temporary happiness. You begin building lasting fulfillment. And that is one of the greatest forms of freedom a person can ever achieve. Chapter 7. Eliminate the enemies of focus. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you own. Unlike money, you cannot earn more of it. Unlike time, you cannot save it for later. Once your attention has been spent, it is gone forever. That is why focus is so important. Focus determines the quality of your work. It shapes the quality of your decisions. It influences the direction of your life. Every meaningful achievement begins with focused attention. Without it, even the greatest talent struggles to produce lasting results. Many people believe they have a discipline problem. In reality, they have a focus problem. They start important work. A notification appears. They check one message. One message becomes 5. 5 minutes become 30. Soon the work they planned to complete has barely begun. The day feels busy, yet very little has been accomplished. This happens because distractions rarely announce themselves as dangerous. They arrive quietly. They promise only a moment of your attention, but moments add up. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with water. Each time the bucket begins to fill, a small hole appears in the bottom. The water slowly leaks away. No single hole seems serious. Together, they prevent the bucket from ever becoming full. Distractions work the same way. One interruption may seem harmless. 10 interruptions can destroy an entire morning. The greatest enemy of focus is not always something dramatic. Often it is something ordinary. A phone that vibrates every few minutes, the television playing in the background, a cluttered desk, an open web browser with dozens of tabs, a mind constantly switching between unfinished tasks. Each one steals a small piece of your attention. Eventually, there is very little left for the work that truly matters. Think about a magnifying glass under the sunlight. When sunlight is scattered, it produces warmth. When the same light is concentrated into one small point, it becomes powerful enough to create fire. Your attention works exactly the same way. Scattered attention produces ordinary results. Focused attention creates extraordinary outcomes. The people who accomplish remarkable things are rarely working harder than everyone else. Often, they are simply protecting their attention more carefully. Consider the story of a young software engineer. He was talented. He worked long hours, yet he constantly felt behind. Every day he answered messages immediately. He checked email every few minutes. He responded to every notification. He believed he was being productive. After tracking his work for 1 week, he discovered something surprising. He was changing tasks dozens of times every hour. His attention never remained in one place long enough to produce meaningful progress. He decided to make one simple change. He turned off unnecessary notifications. He checked messages only at scheduled times. He worked in 90-minute periods without interruption. Nothing else changed. Within a few months, the quality of his work improved dramatically. His stress decreased. His confidence increased. People assumed he had become more talented. He had not. He had simply removed the enemies of focus. One of the greatest misconceptions about productivity is believing that multitasking saves time. In reality, your brain does not truly perform several demanding tasks at once. It rapidly switches between them. Every switch requires mental energy. Every switch reduces concentration. Imagine reading a book while someone asks you a question every 30 seconds. You could answer the questions. You could continue reading, but your understanding of the story would suffer. Your work functions the same way. Every interruption forces your brain to begin again. Focus is not only about eliminating distractions around you, it is also about managing distractions within you. Sometimes the loudest interruption comes from your own thoughts. You remember an unfinished task. You begin worrying about tomorrow. You replay a conversation from yesterday. Your body remains at your desk. Your mind travels somewhere else. This is why mental clarity matters. One helpful habit is writing down distracting thoughts instead of trying to remember them. If an unrelated idea appears while you are working, place it on a notepad, then return to your task. Your mind relaxes because it knows the idea will not be forgotten. This simple habit protects valuable attention. Your environment also influences your ability to focus. Walk into a clean library. Notice how naturally your mind becomes quieter. Now imagine trying to complete important work inside a crowded room filled with loud conversations. The difference is obvious. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than you may realize. Create a workspace that encourages concentration. Keep only the tools you need nearby. Remove unnecessary clutter. Reduce noise whenever possible. Let your environment support your goals instead of fighting against them. Another hidden enemy of focus is constant urgency. Many people spend their entire day reacting. They answer every message immediately. They solve every small problem as it appears. They become busy without becoming effective. Busyness and productivity are not the same thing. Imagine a firefighter responding to emergencies every hour. Urgency is part of the job. Now imagine a writer living that same way. Every interruption would prevent deep thinking. Different work requires different levels of attention. The most valuable work often requires uninterrupted time. Protect that time. Treat it as one of your greatest assets. There is another reason people lose focus. They attempt to do too much at once. A long list of priorities often creates confusion. If everything feels important, nothing truly receives your full attention. Disciplined people simplify. Instead of asking, "What can I do today?" they ask, "What is the most important thing I must finish today?" That single question creates clarity. When you know your highest priority, saying no becomes easier. Every yes is also a no. When you say yes to endless distractions, you quietly say no to your biggest goals. Learning to say no is not selfish, it is necessary. Every successful person has learned this lesson. Time is limited. Attention is limited. You cannot give your best energy to everything. Choose carefully. One powerful practice is beginning your day with your most meaningful work. Early in the day, your mind is often clearer. Your mental energy is stronger. Use those valuable hours wisely. Do not spend your best attention on your smallest responsibilities. Reserve it for the work that creates the greatest impact. Another important principle is accepting boredom. This may sound unusual, but boredom is often where focus begins. Modern life trains us to escape every quiet moment. Waiting in line, check your phone. Sitting alone, watch a video. Feeling uncomfortable, look for instant entertainment. Gradually your brain becomes accustomed to constant stimulation. Deep focus begins feeling difficult because your mind expects continuous excitement. Disciplined people practice staying with the task even when it becomes ordinary. They resist the urge to seek constant stimulation. This strengthens concentration over time. Think about an artist painting a detailed portrait. The work requires patience. Hours pass. The progress appears slow, yet every careful brushstroke contributes to the finished masterpiece. Focus is not exciting every minute. Sometimes it feels repetitive. Sometimes it feels quiet. Do not mistake quiet progress for lack of progress. Many of life's greatest accomplishments are created during long periods of uninterrupted attention. Rest also plays an important role in focus. A tired mind cannot concentrate well. Many people attempt to solve this problem by working longer hours. Often, the better solution is better recovery. Sleep well. Take short breaks during long work sessions. Spend time outdoors. Allow your mind to recover. Recovery is not the opposite of productivity. It is part of productivity. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is finishing what you start. Every completed task teaches your mind something valuable. It says, "I stay with important work until it is done." That belief strengthens future focus. Constantly abandoning tasks teaches the opposite lesson. Protect your attention long enough to experience completion. There is deep satisfaction in finishing meaningful work. As your discipline grows, you will notice something remarkable. The things that once distracted you begin losing their power. Not because the distractions disappear, because your purpose becomes stronger. Clear goals naturally create better focus. When you know exactly why your work matters, protecting your attention becomes much easier. Ask yourself this question every morning. What deserves my best attention today? Then give that task your full presence. Not half of your attention. Not the moments left over after endless interruptions. Your best attention. Remember this truth. Your future is built by what consistently receives your focus. If distractions receive your attention every day, distractions will shape your life. If meaningful work receives your attention every day, meaningful achievements will follow. Every hour presents a choice. You can allow the world to decide where your attention goes, or you can decide for yourself. The first path leads to constant reaction. The second path leads to intentional living. Protect your attention, guard your focus, remove the enemies that quietly steal your time, because every extraordinary achievement begins the same way, with one person giving their complete attention to one meaningful task, and repeating that choice day after day. Chapter 8. The Daily Routine of Disciplined People. Every successful day begins long before the first task is completed. It begins with a routine. A routine may seem ordinary. It may even appear boring. Yet behind almost every extraordinary achievement is a series of ordinary actions repeated with consistency. Disciplined people understand something that many others overlook. Success is rarely created by one remarkable day. It is created by hundreds of ordinary days lived with intention. A good routine removes uncertainty. It eliminates unnecessary decisions. It allows your energy to be spent on meaningful work instead of constant planning. That is why routines are so powerful. They create structure when life becomes unpredictable. Imagine constructing a tall building. The workers do not arrive each morning wondering where to begin. There is a blueprint. There is a sequence. Each step prepares for the next. Without that structure, progress would slow to a crawl. Your daily routine is the blueprint for your life. Every repeated action becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. Many people start each morning by reacting. They wake up. They immediately check messages. They scroll through social media. They respond to other people's priorities before considering their own. Without realizing it, they give away the most valuable hours of their day. Disciplined people choose a different approach. They begin with purpose. They decide how the day will begin before the day begins. This does not require a complicated schedule. It requires intention. Consider the story of a young doctor. Her workdays were demanding. Every day brought new challenges. Unexpected emergencies were common. She could not control everything that happened at work, but she could control how she prepared. Each morning she woke up at the same time. She spent a few quiet minutes planning the day. She exercised briefly. She reviewed her most important priorities before leaving home. These simple habits did not eliminate stress. They gave her stability. No matter how unpredictable the day became, she had already begun with discipline. Over the years, this routine became one of her greatest strengths. People admired her calmness under pressure. What they did not see was the routine that quietly prepared her for every challenge. A disciplined morning creates momentum. Momentum makes the next decision easier. One positive choice encourages another. Imagine pushing a large stone across a field. The first movement requires the greatest effort. Once the stone begins rolling, maintaining movement becomes easier. Your daily routine works in much the same way. The hardest part is often beginning. Once you begin, progress becomes more natural. This is why your first hour matters. It often influences the rest of the day. If the morning begins with distraction, the day often follows the same pattern. If the morning begins with purpose, focus becomes easier to maintain. That does not mean every morning must be perfect. Life is unpredictable. Children become sick. Unexpected calls arrive. Travel interrupts schedules. Disciplined people understand this. Their goal is not perfection. Their goal is consistency. When the routine is interrupted, they return to it as quickly as possible. Another important habit is planning before acting. Many people create long lists of tasks. By the end of the day, they feel exhausted. Yet their most important work remains unfinished. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Disciplined people identify their highest priority first. They complete meaningful work before becoming consumed by smaller responsibilities. Imagine an archer aiming at a target. The archer focuses on one target, not 10. Success requires clarity. The same is true for your day. When everything becomes a priority, nothing receives your best effort. Choose the task that will make the greatest difference, then give it your full attention. One characteristic shared by disciplined people is preparation. Preparation reduces resistance. A teacher prepares tomorrow's lesson before leaving school. An athlete packs training equipment the night before. A writer organizes research before beginning a new chapter. Preparation makes starting easier. Every minute spent preparing saves many minutes later. Another valuable routine is protecting periods of uninterrupted work. Deep work produces deep results. Constant interruptions produce shallow progress. Think about a sculptor shaping a block of marble. Each careful movement matters. Imagine stopping every few minutes to answer unnecessary questions. The sculpture would take far longer to complete. Your important work deserves the same uninterrupted attention. Create time when distractions are removed. Silence unnecessary notifications. Close unrelated applications. Allow your mind to remain in one place. Focus grows stronger when it is protected. Disciplined people also understand the importance of caring for their bodies. A tired body affects the mind. Poor sleep reduces judgment. Lack of movement lowers energy. Unhealthy habits make concentration more difficult. Your body is the vehicle that carries your dreams. Take care of it. Simple habits often produce remarkable benefits. Drink enough water. Move every day. Eat foods that provide lasting energy. Rest when your body genuinely needs recovery. These actions may seem basic, yet they create the foundation for consistent performance. One of the most overlooked parts of a disciplined routine is reflection. Many people finish each day without thinking about what they learned. Disciplined people pause. They ask simple questions. What went well today? What could I improve tomorrow? What lesson should I remember? Reflection transforms experience into wisdom. Without reflection, the same mistakes often repeat themselves. With reflection, every day becomes a teacher. There is another important lesson. Disciplined routines include flexibility. At first, this may sound surprising. Many people imagine discipline as rigid. They believe disciplined people never adjust their plans. The opposite is often true. Strong routines provide structure. They also allow thoughtful adaptation. Imagine a tree during a storm. A tree that never bends is more likely to break. A tree that bends with the wind survives. Your routine should be steady. It should also be realistic. Adjust when necessary. Never abandon the principles behind the routine. Another habit shared by disciplined people is limiting unnecessary decisions. Think about successful individuals who wear similar clothing each day. The purpose is not fashion. The purpose is simplicity. Every unnecessary decision consumes mental energy. Save your attention for choices that truly matter. Small routines reduce mental clutter. The mind becomes calmer. Decision-making becomes easier. Progress becomes more consistent. Consider the example of a professional pianist. People admire the beauty of the performance. Few think about the daily routine behind it. Hours of practice, simple exercises, repeated scales, careful preparation. The audience sees the concert. The musician remembers the routine. Excellence is almost always hidden inside ordinary repetition. The same principle applies to your own life. Your future is being shaped by today's routine, not by today's intentions. Intentions create possibilities. Routines create results. One helpful practice is ending each day with preparation for the next. Before sleeping, organize your workspace. Prepare your clothes. Review tomorrow's priorities. Write down any important thoughts. These small actions create a peaceful beginning to the following day. You wake with clarity instead of confusion. Preparation becomes a gift you give your future self. As you build your routine, remember that it belongs to you. Do not copy someone else's life without understanding your own responsibilities. A routine should support your purpose, not someone else's expectations. Find a rhythm that matches your goals, then protect it, repeat it, improve it gradually. There will be days when enthusiasm disappears. On those days, your routine becomes your guide. You do not need to decide what to do. You simply follow the path you have already created. This is one of the greatest benefits of discipline. It reduces the influence of temporary emotions. It allows steady progress even during difficult seasons. One day, people may ask how you remain so organized, how you continue making progress year after year, how you accomplish so much without appearing overwhelmed. The answer will not be found in extraordinary talent. It will not be found in endless motivation. It will be found in the quiet routines that nobody applauds. The early mornings, the thoughtful preparation, the focused work, the daily reflection, the small habits repeated with care. These ordinary actions quietly build extraordinary lives. Remember this truth. Your routine is writing the story of your future. Every sunrise offers another page. Every repeated habit writes another sentence. Choose your routine carefully, protect it faithfully, because the life you hope to build tomorrow begins with the choices you repeat today. And those choices, repeated often enough, become the character that defines your life. Chapter 9. Stay consistent when life gets difficult. Anyone can stay disciplined when life is easy. It is easy to work when you feel motivated. It is easy to exercise when you have plenty of energy. It is easy to stay positive when everything is going well, but life is not always easy. There will be setbacks. There will be disappointments. There will be days when nothing seems to go according to plan. Those moments reveal something important. They reveal the strength of your discipline. The true test of character is not how you perform during comfortable seasons. It is how you respond when life becomes difficult. Storms come to everyone. No one is exempt. Some storms last a few hours, others last for months. A job may be lost, a business may struggle, a relationship may end, your health may suddenly change. Unexpected problems may appear without warning. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always choose how you respond. That choice shapes your future. Imagine two climbers making their way up a mountain. The weather is clear when they begin. The path is easy to follow. Progress feels exciting. Then the clouds arrive. Strong winds begin to blow. Rain covers the trail. The first climber becomes discouraged. He decides to stop and wait for perfect weather. The second climber slows down. He becomes more careful. He takes smaller steps, but he keeps moving. When the storm finally passes, only one climber has continued the journey. The mountain did not become easier. The difference was persistence. Life often follows the same pattern. Progress during difficult seasons may become slower. That does not mean progress has stopped. Many people make the mistake of believing consistency means never missing a day. That is impossible. Life is unpredictable. There will be interruptions. There will be emergencies. There will be moments when your best plans fall apart. Consistency is not about never falling behind. Consistency is about returning again and again. Think about the heartbeat of a healthy person. It is steady, not perfect. It speeds up during exercise. It slows down during rest, yet it continues. Your discipline should work the same way. Sometimes your pace will change. Your commitment should remain. Consider the story of a young mother who dreamed of earning a university degree. She worked full-time. She cared for her children. She managed a busy household. Many evenings she felt completely exhausted. There were days when studying seemed impossible. Instead of giving up, she changed her expectations. On busy days, she studied for 20 minutes. On quieter days, she studied longer. She refused to believe that small progress was meaningless. Year after year, she continued. Eventually, she earned her degree. People admired her determination. They often asked how she found the time. The answer was simple. She stayed consistent even when life became difficult. She understood an important truth. Small progress is still progress. Many people quit because they compare their difficult season with someone else's easy season. Comparison steals hope. You see someone moving quickly. You wonder why your own journey feels slower. What you cannot see are the challenges they may have already overcome. Every journey is different. Focus on your own path. Move at the pace your season allows. Just keep moving. There is another danger that appears during difficult times: negative thinking. One setback becomes proof that success is impossible. One mistake becomes a reason to quit. One failure becomes a permanent label. Be careful with the stories you tell yourself. Your thoughts influence your actions. Your actions influence your future. Instead of saying, "I always fail," try saying, "This is one difficult chapter." Instead of saying, "I cannot do this," say, "I have not mastered this yet." Those small changes in language create powerful changes in perspective. Disciplined people do not ignore reality. They simply refuse to surrender to it. Another important lesson is learning the difference between quitting and resting. Many people confuse the two. Rest is healthy. Rest allows recovery. Rest prepares you for future effort. Quitting ends the journey. Imagine a long-distance runner. During the race, the runner may slow down. The runner may walk briefly. The runner may drink water. None of those actions mean the race is over. They simply allow the runner to continue. Your life requires the same wisdom. There will be moments when you need recovery. Take it, then continue. Do not allow temporary fatigue to become a permanent excuse. One of the greatest strengths you can develop is resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover after difficulty. It is not about avoiding pain. It is about refusing to stay defeated. Think about a tree growing on a windy hillside. Year after year, strong winds push against it. Heavy rain falls. Snow covers its branches. Yet the tree remains. The difficult weather does not weaken it forever. Over time, it develops deeper roots. Its strength comes from surviving the storms. Your character grows in the same way. Easy days reveal your habits. Hard days strengthen your character. There is a reason why many successful people speak with gratitude about difficult seasons. Those seasons taught lessons that comfort never could. Patience, humility, courage, faith, perseverance. These qualities are rarely developed during easy times. They are forged through challenge. One practical strategy for staying consistent is lowering the barrier without lowering the standard. Suppose your normal routine includes reading 30 pages every day. During a difficult season, perhaps you read 5 pages. You have reduced the workload. You have not abandoned the habit. Suppose you normally exercise for an hour. On an exhausting day, perhaps you walk for 15 minutes. The goal is not impressive performance. The goal is protecting consistency. This principle keeps momentum alive. Momentum is easier to maintain than to rebuild. Another helpful habit is remembering your reason. Why did you begin? What kind of person are you becoming? What future are you building? Purpose gives strength when emotions become weak. Write your reasons down. Read them often. During difficult days, they become powerful reminders. There will also be people who doubt you. Some may question your dreams. Others may not understand your commitment. Do not become discouraged. People often judge the beginning of a journey without seeing the ending. Your responsibility is not to convince everyone. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to your purpose. Let your actions speak louder than your explanations. Another lesson worth remembering is that failure is information. It is not your identity. Every mistake teaches something. Every setback offers feedback. Ask simple questions. What can I learn? What should I change? What will I do differently next time? Growth begins the moment you become willing to learn instead of complain. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet have also experienced the greatest difficulties. Their confidence was not created because life was easy. It was created because they continued despite hardship. Every obstacle they overcame became another reason to believe in themselves. You can build the same confidence, one challenge at a time, one decision at a time, one day at a time. As you continue your journey, expect difficult seasons. Do not fear them, prepare for them. Accept that they are part of every meaningful life. When they arrive, remember this simple truth. You do not have to move quickly. You only have to keep moving. Some days your progress will be measured in miles. Other days it may be measured in inches. Both still move you forward. One day you will look back and realize that your greatest growth did not happen when life was comfortable. It happened during the moments when giving up seemed easier than continuing. Those moments shaped your character. Those moments built your resilience. Those moments transformed your discipline from a habit into a way of life. Never underestimate the power of refusing to quit. Small, steady steps can carry you farther than occasional bursts of speed. Stay faithful to the process. Protect your routines. Return after every setback. Trust that every difficult season is preparing you for greater strength, because success does not belong to the person who never struggles. It belongs to the person who keeps going, again and again and again, until the difficult days become part of the story they are proud to tell. That is the quiet strength of discipline. It does not promise an easy life. It prepares you to keep moving through every season. And in the end, that steady persistence becomes one of your greatest victories. Chapter 10. The Discipline Code for Life. You have reached the final chapter of this journey, but this is not the end. In many ways, it is the beginning. Everything you have learned in this book has been leading to one simple truth. Discipline is not a challenge you complete. It is a way of living. It is not a habit you practice for a few weeks. It is a mindset you carry for a lifetime. Many people spend years searching for the secret to success. They search for the perfect strategy, the perfect opportunity, the perfect moment, the perfect mentor, the perfect circumstances. Yet the greatest transformation often begins with something much simpler. One decision, repeated every day. That is the discipline code. It is not complicated. It is not mysterious. It is not reserved for a fortunate few. It is available to anyone willing to practice it consistently. Throughout this book, you have discovered an important pattern. Motivation fades. Habits grow stronger. Preparation creates confidence. Consistency beats intensity. Focus protects your future. Patience produces lasting rewards. Promises build self-trust. Difficult seasons strengthen character. None of these ideas stand alone. Together, they create a system, and systems change lives. Imagine trying to build a house without a foundation. No matter how beautiful the walls appear, the structure will eventually fail. Discipline is the foundation beneath every meaningful achievement. It supports your dreams. It strengthens your values. It protects your future. Without it, success becomes temporary. With it, success becomes sustainable. One of the greatest misunderstandings about discipline is believing it limits freedom. The opposite is true. Discipline creates freedom. When you manage your finances wisely, you gain financial freedom. When you care for your health consistently, you gain physical freedom. When you develop valuable skills, you gain professional freedom. When you control your emotions, you gain emotional freedom. Every form of lasting freedom is built upon disciplined choices. The person who avoids discipline today often loses freedom tomorrow. The person who embraces discipline today creates more choices tomorrow. This is why discipline is never punishment. It is preparation. Think about a skilled pilot flying across the ocean. The passengers see a calm journey. They enjoy the view. They trust the process. What they do not see is the years of disciplined training behind every smooth landing. The pilot did not develop confidence during one flight. Confidence was built through thousands of disciplined repetitions. Life works the same way. The calm confidence you admire in others was rarely created overnight. It was earned, quietly, patiently, one disciplined decision at a time. As you move forward, remember that discipline is deeply connected to identity. Do not ask only, "What should I do?" Ask, "Who do I want to become?" The answer changes everything. A person who wants to become healthy naturally begins making healthier choices. A person who wants to become dependable begins honoring commitments. A person who wants to become wise continues learning long after formal education has ended. Actions follow identity. Identity grows through repeated actions. The cycle continues throughout life. There will always be new goals. After achieving one dream, another will appear. That is natural. Do not allow success to make you careless. Many people become disciplined only until they reach their first achievement. Then they slowly abandon the habits that created their success. Remember this lesson. Never stop doing the things that helped you arrive. Protect your routines. Continue learning. Remain humble. Success should strengthen discipline, not replace it. There will also be moments when you fail. You will make mistakes. You will miss opportunities. You will experience disappointment. Do not let those moments define you. Failure is an event. It is not your identity. Every disciplined person has faced setbacks. What separates them is their response. They return, again and again. The ability to begin again may be one of the greatest forms of discipline you will ever develop. Imagine a compass. No matter how many times you turn it, the needle slowly finds true north again. Your values should become that compass. When life pulls you away from your purpose, return. When distractions appear, return. When discouragement whispers that your journey is over, return. The direction matters more than temporary detours. As the years pass, your definition of success may change. You may discover new dreams, new responsibilities, new opportunities. That is part of growth. Discipline allows you to adapt without losing yourself. It becomes the steady foundation beneath every new season of life. Another truth deserves your attention. The people around you are influenced by your discipline. Children observe it. Friends notice it. Colleagues respect it. Family members learn from it. Whether you realize it or not, your example teaches others every day. Words may inspire for a moment. Consistent actions inspire for a lifetime. Become the kind of person whose life communicates values without needing constant explanation. That influence is one of the greatest gifts you can offer. As you reflect on everything you have learned, avoid the temptation to change everything tomorrow. Real transformation is rarely dramatic. It is usually quiet. Choose one habit, protect it. Choose one promise, keep it. Choose one distraction, remove it. Choose one priority, finish it. Simple actions repeated consistently create extraordinary results. Never underestimate the power of one disciplined day. One disciplined day becomes one disciplined week. One disciplined week becomes one disciplined month. One disciplined month becomes one disciplined year. Years become a lifetime, and a lifetime becomes your legacy. People often ask what success looks like. Many imagine wealth, recognition, awards, achievement. Those things may come, or they may not. True success begins much earlier. It begins when your actions consistently reflect your values, when your words match your behavior, when your character remains strong, whether anyone is watching or not. That kind of success cannot be taken away. It belongs entirely to you. Imagine meeting yourself 10 years from today. Picture the person you hope to become. Confident, wise, healthy, reliable, resilient, calm under pressure, strong in character. Now ask one final question. What choices would that future version of you want you to make today? The answer is the beginning of your next chapter. Not the next chapter in this book, the next chapter of your life. From this day forward, remember the discipline code. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Begin with what you have. Do not depend on motivation. Depend on your commitments. Do not chase quick results. Trust consistent effort. Do not fear slow progress. Fear standing still. Do not measure your life only by what you achieve. Measure it by the person you become. Because in the end, your greatest accomplishment will never be a title, or a promotion, or an award. Your greatest accomplishment will be becoming a person who can be trusted. A person who finishes what they start. A person who chooses purpose over comfort. A person who remains steady when life becomes uncertain. A person whose character is stronger than their circumstances. That is the true meaning of discipline. That is the code that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. The journey is now yours. Take the next step. Keep your promises. Protect your focus. Build your habits. Choose patience over comfort. Rise after every setback. And continue moving forward. One decision, one action, one day at a time. Because the life you dream about is not created by one extraordinary moment. It is created by thousands of ordinary moments lived with extraordinary discipline. That is the discipline code. Now it is time to live it. Conclusion. Congratulations. You have reached the end of this book. More importantly, you have reached the beginning of a new way of living. Over the past chapters, you have explored the principles that shape disciplined people. You learned that motivation is temporary. You discovered that habits are stronger than emotions. You saw the importance of preparation. You learned to value patience over instant rewards. You discovered how focus protects your time. You learned that keeping promises to yourself builds confidence. You realized that consistency matters more than perfection, and you discovered that discipline is not about controlling every moment. It is about controlling the direction of your life. Knowledge alone does not change people. Action does. The value of this book will never be measured by how much you remember. It will be measured by what you practice. One lesson applied consistently is more powerful than 100 lessons that remain unused. Do not feel pressure to change everything today. Great transformation rarely happens all at once. It happens one choice at a time, one habit at a time, one decision at a time, one day at a time. Remember that every expert was once a beginner, every leader was once a learner. Every disciplined person once struggled with the same excuses, distractions, and doubts that challenge you today. They became different because they chose to continue. You can make that same choice. There will be mornings when you do not feel motivated. There will be days when progress feels invisible. There will be seasons when life becomes difficult. Do not let those moments convince you that your effort is meaningless. The greatest changes often happen quietly. Like roots growing beneath the ground, your character is developing even when you cannot yet see the results. Trust the process. Trust your daily actions. Trust the person you are becoming. When you make a mistake, do not stay there. Learn from it. Stand up. Begin again. A single failure does not define your future. A decision to quit does. Every new day offers another opportunity to move forward. Take it. As you leave this book, carry these simple principles with you. Choose progress over perfection. Choose consistency over intensity. Choose purpose over comfort. Choose preparation over excuses. Choose patience over shortcuts. Choose discipline every day. You do not have to be extraordinary today. You simply need to be a little better than you were yesterday. Those small improvements will grow. Weeks will become months. Months will become years. One day you will look back and realize that the life you once dreamed about was not built through one dramatic decision. It was built through thousands of ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. Never forget that your future is not decided by luck. It is shaped by your daily choices. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity. Every decision becomes another step. Every habit becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. So, begin tomorrow with intention. Protect your time. Honor your commitments. Continue learning. Continue growing. Continue becoming the person you were created to be. The journey toward a disciplined life never truly ends. It becomes part of who you are. Thank you for allowing this book to be part of your journey. May your actions be guided by purpose. May your habits be strengthened by consistency. May your character grow through every challenge. And may your discipline lead you toward a life of meaning, fulfillment, and lasting success. Your next chapter is no longer written on these pages. It is written by the choices you make from this moment forward. Make them count, one day at a time.